I 17 am bisexual, and my parents didn't take it very well when I came out to them 3 years ago. There was a lot of back and forth, yelling, the whole 9 yards, but eventually, it died down and they stopped harassing me about it. I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend, Dylan 18M, for 2 years. He is amazing and I love him. I didn't tell my parents about it because they would have freaked out, so every time we went out, I would just say I was going to a friend's house. They assumed it was a girl and would say things like, "Oh, keys are under the mat when you get home, go get her." That always really bothered me, but as long as I could go out and be with Dylan, it didn't matter. He knew about this too and helped me avoid getting caught. That is, until recently, when my sister 22 followed me to Dylan's house. She then followed us to a restaurant where we went for a date and took pictures of us holding hands, laughing, and even one where we kiss. She showed them to my parents, and they absolutely lost it. They blew up my phone until I came home, and the second I walked through the door, my mother immediately slapped me. I was like, "What the hell?" And my sister, with a smug grin, showed me her phone. I was obviously upset, so I said, "Okay, I have a boyfriend, what about it?" She got mad and started saying, "That's wrong," and went on about how it's a sin, I'm going to hell, blah blah blah. Our family isn't even religious. So, I said, sorry that I can find a guy who treats me like a person, which I realize now, a few days later, I shouldn't have said because it's a sensitive topic for her. She's had a lot of relationships with men who don't treat her well, don't take her seriously, and cheat on her. Dylan told me that he thinks she may have just been upset to see that it wasn't happening to me and that it triggered her, but I don't know. My dad told me I had no right to talk to her like that and that I needed to end my relationship with Dylan immediately. He also said it was very disrespectful of me to lie and say I was going out with a friend, which technically wasn't a lie, lol. But whatever, I apologized even though I wasn't sorry, hoping it would keep the peace, but it didn't. For several days, my dad wouldn't talk to me. For several days, my sister taunted, bitch, and screamed at me, even throwing a cup at me at one point. And for several days, my mom was looking for conversion camps. They actually sat me down and told me that in 1 week they were sending me away, and that only when I was done with being gay could I come back. And no, I'm not doing that, that's absolutely crazy. When I voiced that, they told me it was either the camp or I should find a way to end myself because they weren't going to deal with me the way I was choosing to live. I told Dylan about it, and he was pissed. I've never seen my sweet, kind-hearted, scared-to-kill-a-bug boyfriend with such rage in his eyes as when he heard my parents were doing this. Dylan had just accepted a welding job with his stepdad in another state, and his stepdad offered to pay for a couple of months' rent in an apartment down there for Dylan to get started. Dylan looked at me and said, "You can come with me," so I agreed. Fresh start, loving boyfriend and family, no conversion camp. His stepdad was on board with it too. He didn't have a single problem with me being there or the fact that we were in a relationship. That was really the selling point for me, the fact that he was supportive and cared that we were safe even though he didn't know me very well. My parents said they'd give me 1 week before sending me to that camp, so the night before, Dylan and I carefully and quietly packed my stuff. We only packed what I needed and had bought myself, and we left around 2:45 am. I left a written letter under my bed, super noticeable for anyone like the cops that I know my parents will call to look for me, but not for my parents because they'd be too focused on finding me. The note states that I'm safe and fine, and that I'm running away because I will not be treated like this by them any longer. Dylan and I are on our way 7 states over with a few boxes of clothes, some kitchen items, an Xbox, and our little cat Cookie.